Hi everyone, my name is Karina Ceja and I am the maker behind Brown Grrl Fly, and I'm here today to show you some tips and tricks to playing with polymer clay and making jewelry out of it. So let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start with our materials. So as you can see, I'm using this glass cutter that I've had for a long time, but you can either purchase one of these, or you can also upcycle like an old piece of glass from a frame. And I would recommend that you tape the end so that it's safe when you use it. You could also use tile. Anything that's slippery and kind of sleek on top would work for you. And so I recommend you use anything that you can have at home for now. Also today we will be using a acrylic rolling pin. You could also use one from your kitchen that you use to bake if you want to save some money. We have some blades here. This one has a handle. You can find all this stuff at your local craft shop. This one doesn't have a handle, but they both work. We will be using these popsicle sticks. They're like extra large popsicle sticks. These will help us with our thickness of our clay. We will also be using a toothpick and some cutters, and the cutters can be cookie cutters. These cutters I found at Michael's, and you can use any shape that you want. You can also create your own shape if you want. We have some Gorilla Glue. I'll do it this way. I like the gel. I recommend the gel kind because it allows you to control your amount of glue that you use. And then we'll be using some, I don't think you can see that, let's see, some earring hooks and some jump rings. You can see there. Okay. All right, so let's get started. And then the highlight of all of this is your clay. So I wanted to introduce you to a couple of brands that we have that I use. There's a Sculpey 3, which is a little bit softer, so I recommend this for beginners. There's the Primo Sculpey that I use. I want to say this is my favorite. And then the Fimo Professional is just a little step up if you want to get a little more fancy with it. All of these are also available at your local craft shop. So we'll get started with some of the techniques that I learned as I went along was blending my colors. So polymer clay essentially is a clay that comes pigmented, which means that it has color in it. And the cool thing about it is that if you mix it, then you get new colors out of it, right? Just like paint or any other medium that you've learned any color mixing with. So we're gonna go ahead. I think you can see this one. Let's see if this is like a pink and a purple that we'll be mixing, and we're gonna just squish and twist and smash it and get it to pretty much blend all the colors together. You can see they're kind of blending there, and you're gonna keep doing that until you get your new color. And so that's like pretty much just what you do when you want to get a new color from the colors that you have. And I really recommend that you start with a couple of light colors so that you can make more colors from there and just play with your mixing. If you're adding some black, make sure you're you use very little black, because that'll turn your clay really dark. And the white you can use depending on how light you want to go. So here we go. So we're coming to our new color here, and you can see, let's see, this new purple came from these two colors. It's pretty cool, right? So then I have that one, and I have, let's see, these two I mixed to get this color. It's a little bit lighter, you can see it in there. And then I mixed the blue with the white, and I got, let's see, this lighter, it kind of has some glitter in it, so you can also play with your glitters, because who doesn't love glitter? So let's get started. So the first technique I want to show you is a very simple one, where you just grab the colors that you want to play with. So I'm going to grab some of these, and you're going to roll them out on your surface, and you're going to make these little like rolls, right? So you're just going to do that. And we're going to play with a couple of colors. You pick your favorite colors. You can use matching colors or colors that contrast, that look really cool together. And just really, it's just about you having fun and seeing what, you know, will come out of this. This technique won't really, it's not gonna look the same every single time. It all depends on how you do it, but that's the fun part of this workshop now, is that we'll see what we end up with at the end. Let's see another color we can use. Let's use this pink and just keep rolling them out until you get maybe about, let's do about 7 colors. Let's use something we don't have, yellow. And one of the things too with the clay is that you want to work it with your fingers and your hands. Some of it might be a little tough at the beginning, just from like the room temperature, but once you work it and you play with it with your hands, it'll soften up naturally, and it'll allow you to do more things with it. Okay, so if you need it to harden, sometimes you could put it back in, like put it in the fridge to get a little bit harder if you're trying to do something with it that needs it to be a little bit harder, so you can do that. Let's see what other colors we can add here. Let's go with this nice green here. And you just keep rolling out your strips of colors. I think looks like I'm going with a rainbow theme in honor of Pride Month too. Okay, one more. So see how they're all different sizes? I'm gonna add a little bit of more clay here just to make them the same length. Keep rolling them out. Doesn't matter how thick they are. I think all of them will play a different role once you get to that part. You can always rip out pieces if they're too long to make them. So we'll do that. And I think we'll play with this right now. So now what you want to do is you're going to roll it together. See? So I picked it up and I pretty much just made like a thicker piece. And what you want to do here is you're going to roll it, but you're going to roll one hand in one direction and the other in the opposite, right? So you're doing this, twist, see? Twist, and you twist. And the amount of times that you twist will depend on you and how you want it to look, but essentially you'll be getting this really cool twisted piece here. And what I like to do is I'm just going to kind of bend it in half. You see that? And then from here we have this that we folded in half. So now you want to kind of bunch it up into a little ball and roll it. So we roll it until we get something like this. See that? All of our colors are mixed in there. And so now we're going to use one of our tools. You want to flatten it a little bit to give you this kind of surface, and you could always flip it if you like the other side better. So it's up to you. Sometimes the opposite side looks like way cooler and I'll flip it over. Just depends on what you like. So now we're going to use our rolling pin and our popsicle sticks. This will allow us to kind of get the thickness that we want for our earrings. And you're just going to roll. Kind of like you're making a tortilla or some kind of pastry. And you see that cool, you get this cool just kind of marble effect. And like I said, you always want to check the other side just to see which one you like better. We'll stick with this one. And then what you'll do here is you're going to bring your cutters. And we'll do 2 small ones. We'll do bigger because of the colors. Does it fit? Okay, it doesn't. So we'll do two small circles, and you're just going to press it down. Really, you get to just choose what area of this you like most, and you can pick that. So we're going to do one here, and we'll do one over here. And so now you remove your popsicle sticks, and you get one of your blades. You want to be careful if you're underage. You want to have a parent or an adult around for this part. And so what you're going to do with the blade is that you're going to use it to lift it off of your surface. Okay, so then what I do is like I go under and I go back and forth like this, just so that you can try to keep your circle uniform, and then you'll just kind of like pull it out here. See, now we have 2 circles that we can later turn into earrings. So I'm going to put these aside, but you can see them here. I'm going to show them to you in the zoom camera. So now you have these two, and these will eventually turn into earrings. So we'll put these aside. I recommend you put them on top of a clean sheet of paper. We're going to bake them on top of a sheet of paper. And then this piece just can become your scrap clay that you can use for another project that you may want to do. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use it right now. And I'll show you another technique. Like once you keep blending it, you get a whole different design. So from that one piece that you've made, you could even get a new one. You see this? This is like completely different than what we had earlier. And let's cut out some pieces from here so we have some cool earrings too. And then I like to also just rip off the excess, and then you can pick up your earrings with your blade. Okay? You put them on your paper to save them for when we're going to bake them later. Okay, so now I'm going to look through my my scrap clay and see. So what I'm going to do is just create a base for my next little project here. So I'm just blending these two together, and I'm going to add any like clay that I may not have any use for at the moment, and just put them all in here. Right? So you just kind of make another ball. You're going to warm it up with your hands, and then make a bolita. See that? And then this can be our base for the next project. I might actually have to put in a little bit more clay. Let's do this. Okay. So now we put it down. You flatten it a little bit with your fingers. And then we use our rolling pin with our popsicle sticks so that it'll guide our thickness. That way you don't make it super, super thin. You just kind of have a little bit of help from the sticks, and you roll. Okay? So now we have this like really cool looking color that we made from all the scraps. Just gonna flip it. And now we're gonna do pretty much just pick your colors that you want to work with, and I'm gonna go with some, let's see, some warmer tones here, some purples, some blues, different tones of blue and purple. I'll throw in some orange. So we're gonna be working with these colors right here. Okay, so now all you want to do is take little pieces on your finger. So I'll show you here on this zoom right there. So just tiny pieces that you're gonna rip off of your clay, and then you're gonna press them down into your other sheet. We'll call this a slab. We're creating a polymer clay slab, and what this will do is it'll give us a design that is curated by you, that you can also cut like the other pieces into earrings. So you see that? Just put them wherever you want, and then you'll see this kind of come to life in a little bit. So switch colors. We'll do some purple here. And just keep pressing them. And really there's, you know, this is the part that's just like fun because you get to be creative. You get to play with the design that you're, you know, kind of envisioning, but you could also just wing it and see what comes of it, right? And mixing your colors. So we're just gonna keep pressing it. So essentially you wanna cover this under color here, the green, kind of looks green, with all of your new colors, right? So we're making a new pattern on top that we can work with, and we're also saving clay and creating less trash because you want to use all your clay that you have left over. So you just keep ripping off little pieces here, and you keep pressing them in until you get all your colors on here, and you get all the green covered, all the background color. That was our scrap clay. We're gonna cover that, okay? So Let's just keep going. I also want to mention that sometimes depending on the pigment of your clay, so depending on the color, it might get stuck on your fingers. So I recommend that specifically, I think I want to say with red and maybe some blues, you want to wash your hands or wipe them down when you switch colors, because then you will get that pigment from, for example, from the red will pass over to your new colors, and then you might not like how it looks. And so I recommend that when you use those colors, maybe the red, the black, the dark colors, that you wash your hands so that you can start clean with a new color. So we're almost there. You will just keep covering all the background, which is the green, to make this cool design here. Let's see, I think I need to add a little bit of I'm gonna add some green in here, this bright green, to make it pop. And you can play, I mean, I'm doing literally just like random little scraps, but you can do like strips, you can do actual just like little balls, like little circles, and see how that looks for you. It's up to you what you want to create. This is your masterpiece. So I'm just gonna keep adding. How does that look? I think that looks good. See? And so now we bring our rolling pin to flatten this out a little bit more. And you just want to press it lightly so that in all the directions, so that all the colors kind of just mesh together. And look at that. You have this really cool pattern that you made from your scraps of clay and little pieces that you ripped. So then this is a good technique for picking up your clay off your work table, and I just did that to show you. And so now let's see if we can fit. You bring in your cutters because you want to make your two circles so you can make your pair of earrings. You press it. Another technique you want to use, I try to twist it a little bit so that all the extra clay at the bottom gets released and it's easier for you to remove it. So just twist. See that? And so first step is you remove your scrap clay, and you have these two pretty new, you can make them into stud earrings or dangle earrings, and we'll do that in a bit. And that you set that into your paper. Okay, so I'll show you some of the things I've made the last couple of days here. Let's see. So this is my my sheet of paper, and the reason I recommend to bake on a sheet of paper is because if you put it directly on a baking sheet, you will pretty much get the same effect on the back of your clay, so it'll carry over like a shiny glare. And I wasn't a big fan of that, and so I started using paper because paper is like matte, it doesn't have a shine, so then your earrings won't have a shiny back. And so here are some other ones. So let me do some close-ups of, this one was the twisty technique. You can see that, it looks pretty cool. Just a bunch of colors twisted together. This one was when I worked that same one a little bit more, so the colors blend a little bit more together. These two are the same, but with different colors, so you can see that. These are like a rainbow, and then this is like warm tones with purples and blues. And really, it's just up to you to have fun with it, okay? And you're gonna, if you ever blend too much and you get a color that you don't like, then you can always just use that as your base for whatever next project you want to do. So with an adult or a parent around, they can help you to bake your clay. So all of your clay will always come with instructions of how to bake it. And so this one, for example, says 275 degrees. For every 1/4 inch, you bake it for 30 minutes. So I think this is about a little less than a 1/4 inch, so I would do about 15 minutes. That's usually how much I bake my pieces at. You want to make sure, it's really important that you don't burn your clay. That's not super safe for you. So I encourage you to, you know, have some adults around to help you with that if you don't know how to work the oven. And, you know, just make sure that you don't let it burn. Maybe put a timer to remind you. So once these go into the oven and you bake them, you'll get something like this, which I only have, well, I'll show you these. You'll get something like this. You can hear it. It sounds like it's hardened. And so now the plastic is just turned into a harder plastic, and you can do all kinds of stuff with it. And this specific one has a little hole. That's what actually I forgot to show you. When you have your earring in front of you, before you bake it, you want to just use your toothpick to make a hole. If you want them to be dangly earrings, you want to make sure you have that hole in there before you bake it so that you can use that later to make it into earrings. Otherwise, they can just be stud earrings, which I'll show you. And so here's a baked piece. I show you, and you have a little hole. And so now you will bring out your jewelry making tools. In this case, we have a needle nose plier and a flat nose plier. Both you can find at your local craft shop. You can buy them all. Sometimes they come in a packet with I think about 5 of them, and you can, you know, they come with a cutter, etc. These are the ones we'll be using today. And so what we'll do now is grab our jump rings. You see that? These little circles are our jump rings. So these will allow us to hook up our polymer clay pieces to our earring hook so that we can wear them. And what you'll do here is, so I show you, you want to twist apart this way, and then it opens up the link, okay? It's open, you can see it. I'm going to do one more. So it goes from being closed to being open here. And you know, you'll figure this out and how to hold it. Sometimes depending on how thick the wire is, it might be harder, but this one was fairly simple. And so now you're going to clamp it with your tool. You can see it there. And you're going to grab your earring that's already been baked and has a hole in it, and you're going to put your jump ring through the hole. Let's see. And you'll kind of maneuver it there till it makes it all the way through. And then you kind of have this piece here, right? So it's already gone through the hole, and it's ready for it to be closed. You close it. And then this is really important when you close your link, your jump ring here, because you don't want to leave a gap. If you leave a gap, you risk your pieces falling apart because they have room to fall out. And so here you go. This one's already done, right? It has a hook. It has the jump ring. And so what we want to do is, because I want it to face forward this way, you will have to put another jump ring so that your earring hook allows it to for your earring to face forward. Okay, and I'll show you how that looks. And so we're going to use the other jump ring. You see that it's open? You can see it's open here. And you're going to just put it through here. Right? This is the front of your earring. And this is the front of your, I don't know if you can see it, your earring hook. You know, this is the part that comes out of your earlobe when you wear them. So you're just going to make sure they're all facing the right direction, and you're going to hook it in. And then you're going to close your jump ring. Okay, you've already done it once the first time, and you just close it. I usually just clamp it together and it'll go right back into place. And then you have a pair of earrings. See that? And I had already made the other one so you can see how it looks. See that? And so really this is just for you to play with the clay, you know, familiarize yourself with it and how the different brands feel differently and look differently, but you'll get to find the ones that you love the most. So here's a pair. I also want to show you some earrings I have made that are stud earrings. For example, these two that I made pretty much the same way. I only use 3 colors in this case, and this is the design that I got that I really liked. And what you do when your earrings are baked, you set them down, and you will get your glue. And remember, it's the gel, because it allows you to put to control the gel a little bit more. You put a little dot. You don't need a lot of glue. You just need a little bit. And then you put your earring post that you see here. You put the earring post on top. You press it down. And then I recommend that you, when you do stud earrings like this, that you leave them overnight just so that they dry up well and they glue very well, so that you don't have them breaking off in the future. And so then once they're ready, you have pairs of earrings like this. I want to show you one of the techniques I just showed you. I used it in this pair, right? So then this top part was that second technique I showed you. This is just a pink circle that I rolled out the clay. I cut out a circle. I made my holes, and then this little nopal is also a cutter that I have. And a lot of this also you can find on Etsy. A lot of folks make these 3D printed cutters that are really cool. And here's another one I used the same technique I showed you. So this I used a transparent clay, and then I added the pieces on top sparingly. However, the design I wanted, I made my cut, and then I put my stud piece in the back, my earring post, and then they're ready to wear. And I think that's all that I have for today. So I want to remind you to, purchase the least amount of things you can, use what you have at home, and play with the clay, familiarize yourself with it, and really see all the things that you can make. Practice your mixing colors and the thickness of of your earrings, so that you can decide what works best for you. So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you to Tia Chuchas and the Celebrating Words Festival for having me here today. Have a good one.